Welcome back to the Coach's Corner. We are here now by Coach. We're joined now by Coach Bryan Poore, coach of the men's basketball team at West Virginia State. Welcome, Coach. Thanks for coming on.
Always good to be here.
Yes, sir. Now, you got Senior Day coming up. It's a big day for the seniors. You got 6 seniors on the roster this year. Emotions going into Senior Day for these players.
Yeah, you know, it's always it's a natural process kind of thing. Sooner or later this day comes for all of them. So, you know, we kind of count it down a little bit. So, you know, the emotions are going to be there. But, you know, what we've got to do is get through that first 3 or 4 or 5 minutes of the emotional part of it and then settle down and play because this game's very important to us.
Now, what is it on the coach? How big of a factor is that going into Senior Day? You know, this is maybe, your last regular season home game with these guys. What are the emotions as a coach going into this game?
Yeah, you know, anytime you're losing players, you hate to see them go. And we've got some good ones that we're losing. So, but, you know, like I say, if you're in this business long enough, it comes. Every year it comes and you're losing players. So, you know, we've lost the likes of Tony Cornett's and Teddy Scott's and the Chris Dunn's and Darren Jones. And so, you know, those guys put their time in, and then, you know, when it's time, they have to leave. And, you know, it's tough, but also as a coach, you understand that that's the process. And, you know, hopefully we've prepared them to go out into the real world and survive and be successful.
Now, you just named some great players. The next player maybe on that list is Cookie Miller. Cookie's the guy who's going to be playing his last home game, regular season game that is. Hopefully first round game will be at the Pit as well. But his last regular season home game, Cookie Miller has been a terrific player for you for the last 2 seasons. So just what about Cookie is special for West Virginia State?
Just watching him play has been special for me. Yeah. Not only in the games, but, you know, in the practices. He's just such a dynamic player that can do so many things and really just kind of takes your breath away at times with some of the things that he can accomplish. So, and he's, you know, been a great leader for us. You know, kind of does what has been needed. Last year didn't score quite as much because we had other guys that could score. This year he's picked that end up a little bit. So, you know, he's been a joy to coach, that's for sure.
Now, I talked to Cookie yesterday, and he told me that I called him a go-to scorer, and he said, I'm not going to call myself a scorer. I'm just going to do what needs to be done. What does that say about Cookie Miller? Yeah,
you know, it's he wants to win. You know, that's his primary goal. And, you know, at times he understands that he has to score for us to win. But also, you know, he knows that, you know, he can't do it by himself. And so, you know, he wants to get others involved as well and wants to do whatever the game kind of dictates for that night to help his team win.
Fred Harris is the next guy I want to talk about. You know, another guy on the list of great players. He has a chance to, when it's all said and done, have the career shot blocking record by almost 100 blocks when it's all said and done. He's over 200 blocks in just 2 seasons. So Fred Harris, definitely the energy guy for your team. You know, what is so special about Fred?
Yeah, you know, he's our last line of defense, and in our press, you know, he's very valuable back there, and he's going to be a hard one to replace. I mean, Cookie's the obvious one that's going to be hard to replace, but, you know, Fred sure is too, because he erases a lot of mistakes that we make and a lot of our gambles that our, you know, defense is kind of designed to do. He can make up for that in the back of the press. So he is going to be, you know, difficult to replace. Great kid, 0 problems out of Fred ever since he's been here, and really, you know, just tries to come out and compete every night and give us what he's got.
Now, Fred is a guy that relies on his athletic ability, certainly, and he's battled a couple injuries. How has he been able to persevere through some of those leg injuries and things?
Yeah, you know, right now he might be as healthy as he's been since, you know, maybe even midway or quarter of the way into last year. Because last year he was, you know, his knees were really bothering him with some chronic tendonitis, and so he was really just kind of a game player last year. He didn't practice a whole lot towards the second half part of the year, and then we had the surgery in the off season, and then he had an ankle sprain early in the fall. So, you know, he's about as healthy as he's been, and he's been able to, you know, kind of fight through it. and just keep on playing and give us what he's got.
He gets tougher and tougher inside. This guy, we've seen him evolve from last year to this year, really is an elite rebounder. This guy can go up and get it with the best of them.
Yeah, he definitely can, and we need him to do that. I think he's averaging over 8 this year, so we've really needed that. And the thing, when the game's on the line, Fred really takes it to another level. And I wish he practiced at that level and played at that level all the time. But, when in that last 3 or 4 minutes when you need a rebound, watch Fred. He's going to go up between 3 or 4 guys, and he'll come down with it.
Yeah, we'll talk about another guy that'll do that for you here in a second, but I want to go to Todd Hutchinson. Todd is the only fourth-year senior on your roster. This guy's been with you for the last 4 seasons, so you've gotten to know each other quite a bit. Talk about what Todd brings to this team.
Some stability. Todd came to my basketball camps forever, so I've known Todd for a long, long time. He's also from the same area I'm from, Winfield. So, and he brings a kind of a consistency and a good work ethic. Gives us a lot of energy in practice, and he's kind of our hype man and kind of our rah-rah guy in practice. He gets guys, excited, and he's real vocal in practice. And this year, he's gotten to play more than he has the previous 3 years, and given us some pretty good minutes off the bench. So, he's been real valuable.
And he's a real vocal guy, as you said. How important is it to have a leader out there that is as vocal as he is, a guy who can, who his players obviously respect?
Yeah, definitely. And, not only, whether he's playing or he's on the bench, it doesn't matter where he's at. He's all the time kind of talking and trying to, help his teammates out and get them excited and get them going. So he's been a keeper, that's for sure.
Now, there's so many seniors on this team. We got to go to Will Collins next. This guy's been so consistent year in and year out. This is his 3rd season. He only got a couple of starts there in his sophomore year, but in the last 2 years, every game that he's been healthy, he has started. So what about Will Collins? What do you expect out of him day in, day out?
Will's another one of those energy guys, and, gives us a lot in transition, gives us a lot defensively, gives us a lot of hustle plays, slash into the basket either off cuts or off the dribble. Has made a few shots for us this year, and some games he was, at Bluefield, I remember he shot the ball extremely well. So can make some open shots, but really his niche is kind of giving us those extra effort plays, and whether it be on defense and coming up with a steal, or on offense, attacking the glass and the rim with cuts or with dribble drives. That's kind of what Will does for us.
He's always a guy that starts off the game really hot. Just watching the games the last 2 seasons, he's been a guy that's gotten y'all going a lot at the beginning of games. Will Collins, he'll do that as you see over the last couple seasons. Just what about Will Collins has enabled him to come out and shoot so well at the beginning of ball games?
Yeah, I'm not sure I got an answer for that one. Yeah. But he's comfortable, I guess, at the beginning, and he's got his energy level up at the start of the game. Some players, it takes 5 or 10 minutes, to understand and realize, I guess, the game started. But Will, for the most part, when that ball goes up, Will's going to be ready to go. And we're definitely going to need him to do that throughout our postseason run here.
Will Thomas is the next guy I want to talk about. He has been a real leader for this team this year. Is a really humble guy. We had him on the show a couple weeks ago, and he really, his leadership is really something you see out there on the floor.
Yeah, he's another one that is real stable. His emotional level never gets really high or low. He's just kind of, right there, kind of stable and talks and understands what's going on. And, you got other guys that's kind of a roller coaster. Will Collins is one of them. Cookie's one of them. They can get really high at times. And Will Thomas gives us a little bit of stability, understands the game, and, Will doesn't even want to start. Will wants to come off the bench and give us some energy off the bench, but, he's too valuable to do that for us. Really has been selling out for us. And rebounding the ball extremely well for us.
Greg Giddings is a guy who, this is his first year with the program, and he's a senior. It's his last year of eligibility. And He's a guy that's coming in, and he talked to Coach Slay, he talked to the other teammates. He's really a good guy in the locker room, and he works really hard in practice.
Definitely a great locker room guy, and I've known about Greg for a few years, and coaching friend of mine, coached him in junior college, and things just didn't work out for him to get here earlier, and but he made a choice to come down here as a walk-on and give us one season, and has done a great job. Does everything you ask him to do. Extremely athletic. It's just a shame he wasn't here longer to kind of learn the system and to be able to get out on the court and play for us.
I'll kind of switch things up, going back, talk about the West Liberty game a little bit. The game came out, your team came out, and they played extremely well at the beginning of the game, played with a lot of energy, and of course, that's going to happen against West Liberty. How do you feel your team came out in that game?
I thought we played, fairly well. You're never pleased with a loss, and certainly not a 18-point loss or whatever it ended up being, but I came away from that game feeling good because we played them at their place on senior night. So they were really focused. Plus, they owed us a couple, so they were really focused against us. I thought Bo came out and played well. His early foul trouble really hurt us because he was shooting the ball and scoring well for us. And then we had a couple other guys that get in early foul trouble, which kind of took us out of rhythm a little bit. But we changed defenses a lot. I was pleased with the way they were focused and talking and the things that we did. So I walked away from that game feeling pretty good.
That was definitely a competitive ball game. Now against Pitt Johnstown, you see you guys really kind of switched up your rotations a little bit. You got pulled guys a little bit earlier than maybe normally did. Got Todd there in the game early on. Was that maybe trying to prevent foul trouble that really has been hampering this team so far the last couple games?
Yeah, it was a little bit of everything. I felt like Thursday night probably took a lot out of us because those guys played a lot of minutes. I wanted some energy early because I was afraid of what was going to happen with us not having a whole lot of energy defensively. So that was my game plan going in, was to sub early and to try to save guys for the end of the game so that they would be fresh at the end, because you play Thursday night at 7:30 and then you turn around and play Saturday afternoon at 4. So that's kind of what we went into the game thinking.
With a win on senior night, it would be win number 250. Just kind of put that in perspective of you've been here 12 seasons. Just talk about, just really your career and everything that's been able to get you to that mark, that milestone.
I think I've got a gray hair for every one of those wins. Also, that just says I've been coaching for a while. That's for sure. But, without the players, the support, the coaches that have coached with me, the administration that has supported me and given me the means to do what we've been able to do, none of it would happen. So, it's pretty neat to have, a chance to win 250 games, 25 years ago, I had a lot of people tell me I couldn't be a college basketball coach. But, that's just, you got to put those aside and go for your goals, which I've done. Then I've had a lot of help along the way. And so it's been enjoyable, that's for sure, but we still got a lot of wins left.
Yeah, now these last two games of regular season are big games for your team. Just talking to the guys, talking to Coach Slay, they're really focused on these last two games of the regular season before you get into the tournament. How important do you feel these last two games are?
Yeah, I've told our guys, it's tournament time now, and that's the way we need to approach every game, because we need to win. And we need to, stop our 4-game losing streak, which hasn't happened here for a long, long time. So we need to get back on the winning side and feel that, winning side of things, get some confidence and get some momentum going into the tournament.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That does it for another episode of the Coach's Corner. Thanks to our guests, Renee Bostic and Coach Bryan Poore. To follow WVSU Athletics, go to WVSUYellowJackets.com. You can hear all the radio broadcasts, including Saturday's game versus UC, by clicking on the Listen Live link on the webpage. Join us every Thursday night at 7 right here on Sudden Link Channel 22. For all of us here at the Coach's Corner, I'm Scott Wagner, and I'll see you next week.